We get a lot of questions about resin on this channel, and a lot of people are intimidated by it. So today we are going to learn how to resin. The ins, the outs, everything I do to keep it bubble free, and we're going to try it with various items. So let's go. Hey y'all, it's Stephanie and welcome. If you're new to the channel or you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button down below. It's absolutely free. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or anything you want to see, leave it in the comment section down below. And as usual, give this video a big thumbs up. It'll certainly help out the channel. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so don't forget that we do have a giveaway going on for everything you need to start resin crafting. It is available to you United States and 18 and over. You gotta go to the giveaway video. It's in the bottom of the description box and go to that video. It will have all the rules, the regulations, and everything that comes in the giveaway, along with the sister video for the giveaway, as it is a collab with my younger sister. So I decided that this would be the great time to do a how-to resin, everything you need to know type of tutorial. That way we can try to, give you some of my tips and tricks on how to do it without the micro bubbles, best mixing practices, so on and so forth. Okay, so we got our mats here. These are silicone mats. There are some in the giveaway, but we have two here. Mine are quite seasoned, but yeah, so here they are. First things first, you're going to need the proper protection equipment. You're going to want to protect your hands, your breathing, your eyes. Wear your protective equipment. It's very important. These are chemicals, and they could harm your skin. You could develop an allergy. It could harm your breathing. And if you get it in your eye, it could be very bad. So again, wear the proper equipment. So first things first, we got a bowl of extremely hot water here. And I use extremely hot water to heat my resin. Some people use the candle warmers. I've seen people use the bottle warmers. It really just depends on the container you have your resin in and what you are wanting to do. Me, I personally use hot water because I don't have to worry about it destroying the containers or the resin. Next, you're going to place your resin in the bowls of hot water. Now we are going to let these sit in this bowl of hot water. We are going to heat our resin. We're going to let them sit for about 35 to 45 minutes. Let them heat, and then we will take them out. So let's set these to the side. Okay. Now let's explain what we're going to do. We have different types of molds here. This is one that I got off of, I want to say Etsy. I got this one off of Amazon. And of course, you remember the basic silicone molds that you get off of Amazon. So we got the molds that I made. This one was off of a children's toy, and this one was a mold that I made from my 3D printer. So we got our mold here, and then I got a couple of extra. So we got these and that one. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of different things. This is going to be our basic set where we do our basic pouring. This is going to be our heated resin. We're going to mix it in silicone cups, and we are going to pour. And that way you can see different molds work differently. And, how the shininess and stuff all depends on the mold that you're using. And ending texture and stuff like that could be affected by the mold that you use. So these are going to be all mixed in silicone, heated resin, and we're going to do the final pop of the air bubbles with the heat gun. These right here are going to be mixed with the standard mixing cup. This is what a lot of people have, and these are fine. There's nothing wrong with these. I can make these work. You mix slow. Don't remove the popsicle stick up out. The popsicle stick, since it is wood and it is a porous, does cause more micro bubbles, considering that it holds air in between the grains. A lot of people don't know that, but it does. But you can still work with that. That's not going to hurt your piece. So we're going to do these with standard mixing. We're going to use a heat gun on this. No heat gun on this. This is just going to be an extra test without the heat gun. Everything else we will be using a heat gun on. And like I said, we will be mixing these with our silicone utensils, these with regular utensils. And once our resin's done heating up, we'll be back to start. Okay, so just like that. Okay, and now we are going to start with our silicone ones first. And as you can see, the numbers are on the side right there. So we are going to measure. I am going to be doing 40 of each just to start out with. And then that way we can go from there, because as you can see, this mold's quite big, and we're going to go ahead and fill it up. Now, the trick with resin is to do layer by layer, but we are going to fill this one up just to see how it does. And yeah, we'll just go from there. So let's go. I tend to, whenever I'm doing resin, not only do I heat my resin, but I also start with the thinner one first. So I start with whatever the thinner one is first, and then I pour the thicker one into that. Part B is normally thinner than part A, but when you heat them, they are both equally pretty thin. And so we're just going to blow this in there. As you can see, that is how it looks. There are a couple of bubbles in there from the pouring process. That is normal. We're going to stir slowly, and I am going to leave everything in real time so that y'all can see the whole process. And I am scraping the sides and the bottoms of my container. Some people do a double pour method where they do they stir it in one container and then they pour it out and stir it in another container. I never do that. I never do the double pour containers. I did at first when I first started out, but then I realized, you know, it don't really help anything. All it does is waste supplies. Personal opinion, you can do it however you feel. If you feel more comfortable using a double container method, then you can use the double container method. So we're going to stir and stir and stir until this comes out clear. You'll be able to see when it comes out clear. See if we can get it to focus. There we go. As you can see, there are some bubbles. Yes, my silicone container is a little stained. I use it a lot, but it works still just as great as any of the other ones. I've never had any issues with these silicone containers. And yes, these are the same silicone containers that I placed in the giveaway. So I hope whoever wins that giveaway is extremely satisfied. I spent a lot of time putting that giveaway together, and if you do YouTube, you know giveaways are not easy. There's a lot of rules and regulations you have to follow. So I hope y'all enjoy, and that one of y'all wins. And that giveaway is going on until the end of May 2021. This video, of course, will be up after that, but yeah, so May 2021 will be the end of that giveaway. So if you want to go enter it, it is in the comments section. Now let's see. Okay, so that is fully mixed. Give it one good little stir again, just to make sure. Okay, and as you can see, there are a few bubbles, but not a whole lot. Not as much as there would be compared to if we used cold resin. So now we are going to pour. We might not fill up this all the way, just part way. Because like I said, you don't want to do too thick of a layer. If you do too thick of a layer of resin, it does have an exothermic effect. So it gets extremely hot and it will cause you to ruin your mold. So that's another thing, is make sure you're doing thin layers. This one I'm actually gonna wipe out with a little bit of a rag because it's got stuff in it. And this one's, if I remember right, is matte mold, but we will see once it's cured. Because different molds have different finishes. So we're gonna pour on here. So we'll find out like if it sticks to this mold or not. I know like if you pour too thick in some molds, especially the thin plastic ones like this right here, it will stick to it and it will run your mold. I've run a lot of molds, especially those giant resin pyramids that I do for doing too thick of layers, and sometimes those just stick anyway. But yeah. Okay, on this one, we are going to set the cup right here. I am going to grab 2 of these cups. I accidentally pulled 3 out of their package, but that's okay. And these only go up to 30 milliliters, and this can only hold 60. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to measure out 30. And you could do it in separate cups or the same cup. Being that this is for demonstration purposes, I'm going to go ahead and do it in separate cups. I do use the same cup most of the time, especially since they're disposable. I'll only use 1 cup per project. If I'm doing like multiple projects all in the same day, I'll use 2 cups and do like 3 or 4 projects using the same cups to eliminate waste. Because as you know, disposable is a lot easier to work with. Sometimes you don't have to wait for it to cure to reuse it or anything like that. So just something to think about whenever you use silicone cups. You gotta wait for the resin to cure before you can reuse it and stuff like that. So first things first, we are going to pour our thinner one into the container. Another thing, if you're doing like 3 or 4 projects, you're going to want to use separate popsicle sticks for the parts. So like part A, you'll use 1 popsicle stick, and part B you'll use another one, just not to contaminate your cups or your projects. Okay, so we got that one, and this is the thicker one. Pretty much the mixing process is the same with both. Okay, so we'll set those to the side. As you can see, these ones over here are pretty clear already. A lot of the bubbles have already popped. There are a few bubbles on this one. We're going to let those ones sit for a few minutes while we stir this one. Now the trick with using a wooden stick is to leave it in the cup and go in circular motions. You still want to scrape the sides and the bottom. And you can stir slower than me if you're not used to stirring. I tend to just leave it in the thing and stir like this. It takes me a couple seconds. You don't want to pick that popsicle stick up out of the resin at all. And I don't know if y'all can hear my dog crying or not. She is extremely upset with me because she wants to be in here with Mom and she's not allowed around the resin. So I have her in her kennel and she's mad. But we're just going to keep on mixing. And this one actually looks like it has less bubbles than the silicone ones did. That's a little strange, I guess, maybe from the pouring process. Now once you get them mixed thoroughly and you don't see any more of the glistening streaks running through the resin, that is when you pour your additives. You can add glitter, you can add sand. I've added sand, I've added different stuff into it. Chunky glitter, fine glitter, you know, if you want to add your mica powders, your alcohol inks, anything like that. Okay, and we are almost done. There we go. So as you can see, very little to no bubbles. This is the main reason why I mix with warm resin. I don't like to mix with cool resin unless I know that I'm going to have the time to work with it. And, you know, if I'm going to have the chance to let it rise and pop the bubbles. So, let's pour this. We're going to start with this one. This is our deep mold for this side. Okay. And same with the other ones. We're going to let this rise. And we're going to pour that mold. And then lastly, we are also going to pour whatever's left in this one. And this is going to be the control. This is going to be the one that we don't use any heat on. Okay. Now, fun fact, if you do use these plastic cups like this, if you let them, if you get most of the resin out and you let them cure, you can actually pull the resin off of them. We'll show you that here in a minute. So let me get most of it out though. Okay. Alright, so we're just going to let that sit, and once it's done curing, we'll be back. Now we're going to go ahead and get these with the heat gun while these sit. And we are going to leave, as you can see, all these clear for demonstration purposes, so you can definitely see what bubbles are there, if any. and how they react. A lot of people say to pour alcohol on them. So let's pull one aside. Since we know how this one acts, we will pull it aside and it will be our alcohol sprayed one. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop the bubbles on these. You want to use a low heat. And you want to be extremely careful, because if you overheat the resin, that actually causes more bubbles as well. So you don't want to overheat the resin. This one, as you can see, has bubbles on the side that I'm trying to loosen. Depends on the resin you use. And every once in a while, if you can see a bubble on the side forming, you can always take a popsicle stick or a toothpick and get it to where it comes out and pop it like that. Alright, so this is going to be our control. This right here is going to be our alcohol spritzed one. These are with a popsicle stick and disposable cups, and these are with silicone cups. So let me go get the alcohol for that one, and I'll be right back. Okay, so today we are using 91% alcohol. Reason being, it is readily available for anyone and everyone to purchase at a drugstore. We're going to create kind of a block here, and we're going to spritz the top of that like that with alcohol. So now we will grab our heat gun. We are going to hit these again because they've been sitting for a minute. We're going to hit those, and then we'll come back in a few minutes and hit those again. So let's just start with these. Okay, we'll do these again. We still got that air bubble on the side there. Like I said, a lot of it just depends on the mold that you're using. Like if you're using a mold that is prone to air bubbles, then you might get quite a bit of air bubbles. Okay, one more time on these. And we will let these cure, and once they're done curing, we will be back to demold them. Okay, so we are back, and as you can see, if you just leave the popsicle stick in there, you can actually pull the resin out of the cup and reuse the cups. So there is one thing about plastic cups that many people don't know, but that is completely up to you. That's not 100% cured, but it's cured enough to where we could pull it out. And same with this one. Of course, this one's silicone, so it pulls off right away, but once it's cured fully, you can just rub it and it will all come out. So that works. Now let's get to these pieces. Now these pieces are cured enough to where we can demold them and handle them. They're not cured 100%. It does take a little while for them to cure, but we're going to go ahead and demold and look at, we can tell if there's any bubbles. So as you can see, there's a few micro bubbles in this one. Just a few, not a whole lot. But let's go ahead and demold it. And like I said, everyone is different on the outside. So see this one, this mold is a little beehive. And while it's clear there on the outside, because of the type of mold it is, it's matte. Now this one does have some bubbles in the side and some little micro bubbles that settled in it. So that's one thing, but it's actually super cute. Would make a really cute insert for like a pyramid or something. So this is with the silicone mixing and the Amazon mold. Okay, let's unmold the Etsy mold. Now this is also a different type of mold, and as you can see, while it don't have any bubbles in it, here, look, put it back in there so you could actually see how it don't have any bubbles in it. But whenever you pull it out, it's still got a matte finish. So there's that type of mold. But once again, would make a really good inlay, or like I've made earrings out of this piece before. They make really good earrings. Let's go ahead and unload this one. Now, as you can tell, this one don't have any bubbles in it. This I actually made out of and as you can see, it's also shiny. So I actually made this out of a toy that my daughter had. I used her toy to make this mold, and it turned out pretty well. Let's see if you can see. Right there. You can see it don't really have any bubbles in it besides the very few. Alright, so lastly, let's go ahead and this is the one that we had that was not that we sprayed alcohol on. But as you can see, there's absolutely no bubbles. This piece is crystal clear, absolutely clear, and that would be a really good piece to decorate and make something out of. Now let's grab the one that we did as a control, and as you can see, let's see, I don't know if you can see, but there's a few micro bubbles that settled at the bottom. But other than that, that too is a really clear piece. And like I said, a lot of it just depends on the mold. Now let's see the ones that we mixed in the disposable cups with the wood stirring stick. And if you can see, it's crystal clear. Little to no bubbles in it. A very good piece of work right there. And these are the steps that I follow on all my resin. So you can use these steps with any resin. It don't have to be a particular resin. But today we are using extreme resin. So this is extreme resin, but like I said, you can use these steps on any resin. So let's see if we can get this one out. Now this is a straw topper that I made on my 3D printer, and as you can see, crystal clear. Oh, let's see, no bubbles, nice and shiny. And it just depends on the mold you use. Like this one, because of the inside, it looks like it has a giant bubble through the middle, but it's really not. But just a really good piece. So that is how I do my resin from start to finish, from heating to prepping, everything. So yeah, if you have any other questions or comments, just leave them in the comment section down below. I try to get to everybody. Remember, we do have the giveaway going on. If you could give this video a big thumbs up, it will certainly help. And y'all have a great day. Bye.